All right, guys. Welcome to Subscription versus Issue. Okay. Today we're going to be discussing love, money, and milestones, navigating finances through life's big moments. So welcome to listeners to the show. Introduce the episode topic: how love, money, and major life. Sorry. How love, money, and major life events intersect. We're going to be discussing just kids, school, life, parents, purchasing a house, retirement. We're going to get into it, discussing how all those events affect our lives and how finances play a big role into that. And help, with some examples on, people possibly within our lives that we've seen, but we feel that made good financial choices and that navigated, and then some people we saw that made poor financial choices. So let's talk about it. A major life event would be having a kid. How do you do that? When are you ready for that? But before you even have a kid, marriage. I've been watching what is it, The Ultimatum. And a lot of people's like, I don't want to get married. The reason why I can't commit to you is because I'm not financially stable. Was that an excuse or real life stuff? You know what I mean? Is it
real life? Was it the male or the female saying that?
Well, depending on the season, it just depends. Because one woman was like, he doesn't make enough. And the man was like, I got you. We're good. And then I had a man saying like he wanted to be able to provide her. And one woman was like, well, I can take care of myself. So, everybody's aspect on what does that look like? How are we navigating that?
So the man that said, I got you, the woman was just like basically wanting a better lifestyle than what he thought he could provide.
No, she just didn't want, she wanted her own independence.
He was just like, don't work.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm ready to get married. I got my career in line. I'm an engineer. I know what I'm doing. This is where we are. And she's like, well, you're in that position, but there's a lot of things I need to figure out for myself and make sure that I'm straight before I just go and marry you and everything's under you.
Facts.
Right? So some people but for me personally, I feel like that's an excuse because my man got it, then I got it, and we're good. I can work on my while with you. That's just me personally. I don't feel like if you're saying like, babe, I got you and I trust you, we're together, and like I may not have figured out my career, my life, but I know I want to be with you. I'm not gonna say like, no, I'm not gonna do it until I figure myself out. That means I have to figure myself out beyond you, is my perspective. Because especially when I have someone saying, I got this, I can take care of you, we got this, we're gonna do this. You know what I mean? And you truly trust that, then I don't feel like the finances is a holdup.
Yeah, I think she tripping. She just don't want to be with him. She just tell him. Like I definitely feel that. Like you say, you got me. Like that's sometimes that's all someone needs. You know what I'm saying? And it don't mean like like me not to do anything, but like you got me, bro, and you ready? Shit, I'm ready too. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's an excuse, because I feel that even way if like a guy would say it too, like that's an excuse.
I can see some of the men were saying that as well. They said, I want to be at a better position. I want to be able to take care of you. I don't want it to be a stress. And the girl's like, I want to marry you. Whatever you're going through, whatever you need to get to, we can work together to make this happen. You know what I mean? So it's like merging the lives together, the finances, the engagement, the wedding, all that, moving in, all that costs money. So what do you do when you find your person and you're like, shit, I'm not really stable to be in a relationship?
And that's when all the problems start, when y'all moving together and then now you feel like you're carrying more of the load. That could be the man or the woman, depending on the agreement that you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
That's when all of the conflict, all of she left the toothpaste out. She don't, you know what I mean? You start thinking about all these things because the money isn't right. Now every little thing bothers you.
You think that's true?
I can concur.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when a bigger problem is at hand,
you focus on the little things.
And you just at the table eating chicken, you're like, look at this bitch eating chicken. You know what I mean? Like Look at that big bitch walking to the door. Like, the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, just certain things can stem from a bigger problem, and financially, that's a bigger problem. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she wants to do stuff, or maybe he wants to do stuff that he can't do, or whatever. You know what I mean? Or it can be a traditional way where a traditional guy would just like, yo, you can't work. That's just the way it is. But he's stressed out because he really can't provide for all this. You know what I'm saying? And she's ready to have a kid. She's ready to do this. So yeah, I mean, like, I may go back on depending on the person, it may or may not be an excuse for financial reasons. Like, for real.
I say fuck that. I need to have my own. You have your own. We bring that shit together. Because God forbid something was to happen to your black ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I am not finna be out here struggling.
So
Yeah.
what you saying, Queen? Like, I don't get
Like
it.
I'm more into like I'm a type of person. What if?
Yeah.
What if you was
Like
to go
50-50.
outside today or tomorrow and get hit by a car and die? Now I'm stuck out here, ain't got nothing going good for myself. I'm struggling now. I
Insurance,
think
you gotta
about
have
stuff like that.
insurance. Gotta have
I,
insurance.
I mean, and yeah, but that's the thing. If we don't get married in time and he get hit by the car before we go down there and file them papers, then what?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, hi. Come on now.
Yeah,
That's how I live my life. I live my life as what if. That's why I work so hard. That's
Yeah.
just
yeah,
me personally. I won't go against how anybody else feel, but I'm just saying it's what if. What if this happened to you? Then what?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think every woman wants to feel secure. So, I mean, if the finance is there, it's not gonna have no romance. It's a lot of things gonna be missing from the relationship, and you're gonna
Hmm.
struggle in every other aspect of it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something, Shaquina. So, like, what if you met the man of your life? I mean, like, God diggity dog. You know what I mean? God did his big one. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, like, he was just like, I'm going to take care of you. I really don't want you working. I don't want you working, but like, I don't want you working, and you know what I mean? But like, you going to live a normal life, not the best life, but a normal life. Like, how would you feel? Like, would
Is
you
my
like?
life is my name on that life insurance already?
Yeah, but it's only a couple of $100,000. Like, he not, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I could throw some shit for a couple of $100,000.
Long as she could pay the mortgage off when he
When he's
dies.
gone, you feel me? The
Yes.
me and my kids ain't finna be struggling on the side of the road because your ass done decided to go out the door and get killed.
Ah.
Like I
Right.
said, that's just how I live my life. I am a type of person like I be always worrying about stuff. So,
Okay, can we agree, like, for major milestones, like within our life when it comes to financial situations, marriage, children, and retirement? Are those like the big milestones?
oh
Yeah,
yes,
Is there
yeah.
anything else that we feel that can come into play that's a big financial
getting a house.
purchasing a house? Okay.
Yeah, I mean
Mhm.
we can skip the kids because majority of us on here already got kids. So
That's not, I think that's something we need to talk about though. Being ready for the child. Like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Because some people like plan it, but how often do people actually plan it? And when it
Not
I
happens,
didn't
often.
plan it. It just
Not
happened.
not very often in our community.
Yeah, thank you. It happens. You being
exactly,
grown.
you're in a position to get yourself together, and then a child comes. You know what I mean? How you navigating that? That's just stuff like that. Like, how are you navigating? Are we just not having sex to prevent it from happening?
Are you guys looking at me? Well,
You know what I
no.
mean? Are we saving ourselves?
No.
Like, what are we doing to ensure that at the end of the day, like, we're putting ourselves in position?
Well, I was doing nothing to prevent it. That's why I'm in the situation I'm in now.
You a fool. You a fool for that one.
Okay, you're in a situation now, but like you've been in a situation before. Isn't it better now?
Financially, yeah, yeah. I'm older, more mature. The finances are there, so the stress is not as much. But now I'm thinking I'm more so stressed on just the change.
Mm.
like right now, I know I don't want to speak on on illegal things, but I leave my kids home alone right now. Not that long. Like I don't be gone like 10 hours or something.
Yeah, no. But just to go to the grocery store and come right back if them little motherfuckers are asleep. I ain't gonna lie, me too. I'm not finna wake you up.
Right. My son, he's almost 13. My daughter
Oh,
is
he a
7.
grown man. He good. He good.
Right. So it's like they got their phones, they got their friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They ain't gonna do nothing
Stranger danger. Do
crazy.
not go near the door.
Don't
Yeah.
They
go
know
near. They
better.
stay up. Both their rooms are upstairs. They don't come downstairs. Don't go in my kitchen. I'll be back.
Yeah.
You know? So right now, I'm like, with the baby coming, I'm like, dang, like I can't do that. Like I'm going backwards,
You gonna have to
starting all
bring
over.
bring the baby with you.
Right,
Sorry.
exactly.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think CC knows.
I'm
Wait, what?
having a, I'm having another baby, Cece.
Oh my god! wait, when did this happen?
At
I don't
home.
mean when it happened, but when did it happen?
I'm about to say, oh God.
Literally, like just right now, like I just announced it. Like you didn't like miss it. I just like
Oh, okay.
because her
Oh, so
first
Selena's the friend.
her first trimester is about to end, so we're kind of telling people now. We were waiting at first. She's going into like week 11, so
Congratulations, sir.
What the fuck?
This is so
Congratulations, Rashad.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
So now you 3 kids in. Who?
About to be.
About to be, yeah.
And like that's what I'm saying.
that's
Like
so exciting.
that's
Dang,
yeah.
bro.
You guys are in a better, like you said, financially, you feel like you're in a better position.
Yeah.
You're older, so I feel like when we have kids at a younger age, like in their 20s, are we looking at okay, one day I'm gonna have to retire. One day I have to like my kids are getting older. They're gonna need to go to college, cars, stuff like that. Is that a lot of things that we think about when we have the child? I feel like
Yes.
did you think about that when you had Chase?
No, I was a kid then, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
right now.
See, like right now though, that you're older, those are certain things you think about.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, having Sunny at the age of 20, almost 21, I was more so thinking about I want to like enjoy being a mom, but then it was just like, oh, in like a few years he got to go to college. He has to set him up where he has a better future, a better start for himself. You know what I mean? And so it was like it was fun at first, but then like now it's like you're almost 13. Now we got to set you up as to help you enter into the world as your own man. You know what I mean? That's like, and then I have to think about shit. I got to retire soon. I don't want to work for the rest of my life.
Facts.
So it's one of those things where having a child, I feel like at a certain age, it's like you have time to navigate some of those issues that you may not have if you wait until a later time. But then also the same reverse effect, if you late, you kind of have yourself in a position where you're more financially stable, where you kind of know, like, all right, if I have a kid right now, this is where I'm at, this is what I can do. Whereas, like, if you're young, it's like, it feels good, Your body works better, you're not as tired, your bones are still good. As soon as you hit 30, everything starts to hurt.
Yes, it does.
Everything.
In real life.
Wait
in
a
real
minute.
life.
Wait a minute. We're not co-signing.
I remember growing up, we had a cousin. I don't remember Cece, and she lived with us, and she had kids, and she was young. And I remember her saying, like, because all she would do was like work, help provide for her kids. It was a lot. She had, like 4 kids or whatever. And I remember her saying, like, I can always go to school and start my career and start my life, but I won't always be able to have kids. And I just remember thinking, like, it looked hard having 4 kids and working a lot. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, but I also realized, like, you're absolutely right. You can't wait until you're like 40. Plus some people do start having 4 kids. Some people can, some people it doesn't work out that way. So I guess like navigating.
I just believe in the divine order.
What is that?
And like everything happens like for a reason. You know what I mean? I do think there are benefits to having a kid young. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a lot of people like even because
What's
we're
young? What's young,
well,
Cece?
well
What's that noise?
yeah, what is that noise?
That's not me.
That's not me.
That's Queen. Go ahead, CP.
So like, okay, so I feel like we're in a generation right now where a lot of people, we have a lot of young millionaires, a lot of young successful people, you know what I mean? And and so people who, I feel like as far as like being ready, there's no age limit to that. So if you're ready at a certain point, like even if you're ready in your 20s, I'm saying like young as in like 20s, not like 18, 19. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay,
Like
okay,
you know what I
okay,
mean? Like as far as an adult, basically. Like, there's a
okay.
couple years past adult, but like I feel like if you're ready and you're prepared, you're financially prepared, you got your shit in order, and you have a future ahead of you, and you already know what you want to do. You know, there's a lot of people who are born, they don't really know that their purpose in life. And there's some people who are born who know their purpose in life, who are actually, you know, blessed enough to actually go achieve it and like are able to set that up really early in their life, not at 40 or 50 or whatever when they're older. So if you're ready, there's no age cap on that. You know what I mean? There's no age limit or maximum. And I feel like if you're ready, then you can, you know, go ahead and push a couple out, you know?
Me personally, I just feel like the term ready. I don't think that's even financial situation, honestly. Some people are not mentally or emotionally stable to have kids. And I feel like you don't really realize that until after you have them.
That's
Yeah,
true.
So I definitely feel like me personally, after having a child in 20, I recommend everyone waiting until they're 30. I don't think anyone should have a child over 20. That's
And
just what I
you
feel
saying at 20?
in their 20s.
so
Mm.
not at 27.
Not, that's me personally. I feel like you should wait until you're 30. Because I feel like for me growing up, I thought the mentality was 18 grown, 20, you got your shit together. No, there's so much life you learn.
And
You
you're
know,
right about that, Selena.
the exposure, the life, the traveling, there's so much thing you can expose and you learn
But
of how
then,
you actually want to raise your kids. Because,
but then you.
go ahead, Rashad.
No, I was just saying. Well, I mean, if you're gonna tell women to wait till they're 30, you gotta think like the biological clock, though.
It's ticking.
I'm not saying you can't find you a partner to be ready at 30.
So you saying like you can get married in your 20s and then wait?
Yeah. And
Okay,
see,
And you can have a kid many ways nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I
say it
mean,
again.
like,
Say it again. CJ.
obviously it might be harder other ways, but you can have a kid many ways nowadays. It can be surrogacy, even if your biological clock is ticking. You know, I
Which is
understand that.
very, very. Most people cannot afford that, but
finances, navigating finances.
Yeah,
right.
finances. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a
But
very
I agree
small
with what Selena
percentage.
was saying though. I think the same thing too, Selena. Like with me having my first daughter at 23, it was like, yo, I still wanted to be in somebody's club, be bopping and shit. You feel me? And then when I had my last one at 30, I'm like, you know what? Now I got two of them. So now it's time for me to just, it is what it is now. Now I need to bust my behind now, for then later I ain't got to do it.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like, to be honest, like, 30, when I had my second daughter, I was really ready. Like, it was like everything was easier. And when I was 23, it was like, yo, I was making gyros at the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And then when I had my youngest daughter, I got a whole career. So I understand where Selena comes from. And I feel the same way. Wait until you get in your 30s. I feel like, by that time you can give yourself your 20s to really navigate your life. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to still be out there partying? Do you want to stay out there, doing all this crazy stuff? Because then once you start having kids, you got to somewhat slow down on that.
Because like
You
once you're
know?
a parent, you're always a parent. There's no
Yeah,
like that's it. You know what I mean?
it never changed.
Never, you want to be involved. So I like every of course case by case, everyone's situation is different. It's just me personally, I would recommend like live your 20s, even if you find your person and you want to settle down, you want to start having fun. There's other ways you can grow and you expose yourself to different avenues that you can expose your children to. You know, I feel like depending on who that person is, they may come from a very reserved family, so they're finally out, and then the first thing you find someone, and they start having kids. You know, and I feel like a lot of times people are not exposing themselves and not living life and finding out who they truly are. That's when we have like crises and, you know, kids, and your kids feel what you go through. You know what I mean? Like you go through stuff, and it's like I'm navigating my own personal life while trying to raise someone and teach them theirs. You know, so that's me personally why I feel that way. But some people, you know who they are and figured it out at the age of 14. You know, so
fuck that.
They're good at 20.
No, I guess I agree, but I just think, you know, you got to be clear because we're not saying like you should just play around in your 20s.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you like if you want to have kids, this is something you got to be working towards in your 20s. Getting your life together, finding the correct partner, and doing all those things. Like, don't just wait until you're 30 to start finding the right partner and getting your life together.
Yeah,
Because
correct.
then that's, you know what I mean? So I just want to make that clear, that point clear.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like planning for it. Like, you know, this is what you want, then follow those steps. Like, find time to find out who you are. If you know eventually you're going to want kids, don't just because now I want kids, I want to find someone to start having kids. Like, you know, if you're like you're 20, you're in school, you're in college, and you love your life. It's like, cool, enjoy that time with them, because like once life starts happening with kids, finances, and you never know what can happen. Like death is a huge moment sometimes that happens, you know, and it's just, what are we doing to protect our mental health when we're not stressing and putting those issues onto our offspring, because they feel it.
They feel it, yeah.
They live it. Some of them are better at hiding it and it not affecting them. But some things that our parents do affect us. And as much as just having my nephew and my sister on here, Queen, like I've known you guys all my life basically, and I've seen like our families and stuff, how still to this day we're realizing how upbringings have affected us. Even though they have the best intentions. You know what I mean? They're bad, you know, our upbringing, but they, you know, it's just people are people. What our best thing I realized being a parent is my parents were still people. They were still figuring it out. You know?
Yeah, that's really deep. It's just like even though that like you like have a parent, like you have like a mom or a dad, and you look up to them, and they're like oh, that's mom, that's dad, but in all, like though that's a woman, you know. She has needs, she has a life, she has thoughts of her own. She's not just your mom, you know. Then you have a whole dad, like that's a whole nigga over there, bro. Like he that's what he do, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, I be telling people that, just like people who like feel some type of way, because like they're still people, you know what I mean? And even if you're a first child, you know, like you're the or whatever, like they just started. There's no manual, you know what I mean? So because there's no manual, you know, like I feel like certain times, like, you know, there's people who are, you know, kids who blame like certain things that they put off on their offspring, and then the offspring gets an adult and be like, oh, I'm like this because of like this. But at a certain point, like, you're gonna be a person too, my nigga. So you got to deal with it. You know what I mean? You got to do
it. Prime example of it.
You're a person too. So yeah, things happen, you know, but you know, at the same time, like you got to deal with it. So figure out what you need to do, what you got to do to be better.
I agree. Now, one more thing I want to touch on about children. I mentioned preparing the child, saving for them to go to college, you know, saving for their future so you can prepare them, you know, have a better chance at life. Is everyone in agreement that you as a parent should pay for your child's schooling in their first car?
Damn, nigga, you can't get financial aid. They're not still offering that. You can't go work at 16 and start saving up your own money, and I give you the other half.
It depends on your income, though.
I'm broke. That's my income, bro. Okay, that's what I'm gonna put on the paper, bro. She needs it.
Wait, say if you in a situation you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yes, of course. But I'm still gonna put broke, because you know extra assistant does work.
Yeah, That is deep, bro.
So,
Like what you got to do is like right before they turn 18, you got to like put them up for adoption.
You know what? I'm not doing that. Not
And
my
then
babies.
and then college is gonna be free.
For real?
This yeah, because they have no parents, so there's grants for that. Their
Yeah,
their
listen.
income their income is zero. So you're gonna get everything, the Pell Grant, the this,
Hold
the
on, say that a
that.
little louder for the bored-headed bitches in the back. What happened?
This is illegal, but people do it.
I'm good on that.
Okay,
I'll figure it out.
we don't use the I word, nephew. We don't use the I word. Okay.
but
Okay, but I have a question. I have a question though, but kind of like what Queen said. Okay, so if you guys are like what Selena asked, if you are financially stable, you know what I mean. We're not.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say stable, but if you can afford to buy your kid a car or pay for their college or whatever, and then it's like, would you guys rather pay for it all, or would you guys rather have your child work for it?
I guess to me it depends on the situation. Like with me, I got a car in high school, but I was doing sports year round.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? I couldn't necessarily work a part-time job because I was doing track. I did cross country. I did wrestling. I did football in the summer. So
So that means you kept your basically. So you kept yourself busy, and I like that idea. Like if my kid's gonna go and do something while they in school, okay, cool. You might not have to work, but if you just around here just aggravating the hell out of me,
yeah,
go
if you're
find you a
just
job, buddy. You feel me? Because now it's just like,
hmm
you know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, my whole thing is it's just like, but that's setting your kid up to the real life. Eventually, they are going to be grown, so you can't sit here and enable your kid the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I do understand. It works for other people. It works. It don't work for like when I was like 16 and working. I enjoyed working and going to school
My
because
God,
I
hmm
me
felt
too.
like
Me too.
it kept me out of the streets. It kept me from getting pregnant. It kept me from a lot of things. So my whole thing is, idle mind, that shit is real. When you
Yeah.
got too much idle time on your hands, you want to get into any and everything. And I just feel like now if you're doing sports in school, like Rashard was just saying, okay, cool. I won't be on your neck about nothing. But my whole thing is like, come on now. I
yeah,
need for you to do something.
you got to do something. And that was
Thank
what
you.
what was preached to me as a kid. Like, okay, if you're gonna go to school for the little 7 hours you're in school, 8 hours, whatever it is, and come home and do an hour of homework, and then you got 7 hours now to do nothing. No, you need a job.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're gonna go, like, I was in clubs, I did sports and stuff, so my parents didn't really even want me to work.
You didn't have time to work.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I liked it. I honestly I like the
I
fact that like, I went to work after school. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying? And
love
then
it
when I got
too.
like a office admin job, and I used to like, because back in the day, everybody used to dress sophisticated, like you know what I mean, and like with the ties and shit. Like I would be stepping in school. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work after this. Like, it's just you
Right.
know what I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I enjoyed it too. Like
but
work was good. Like
yeah,
I said, it kept me out the streets
Yeah, the
because
people that had jobs, they was the freshest at school too, though.
oh,
for
you already
real,
knew
for
it.
real.
Hey.
Yes, I literally remember when Selena came home with her first $300. She was
I
like,
know.
"I'm rich."
Okay.
She holding
Oh,
up 3 bills. I remember that shit.
Yeah,
Um,
that's back when
I
$300 is $300 too.
thank you. Okay, because now $300 is $3.
Right? You getting some dinner. That's it.
but like, okay, so we have Life on 18 Wheels just said my kids ain't working, so
So,
Tell him
like,
to
so
go
that's what I
go
wanted
go to
to ask you
bed.
guys. But like, that's what I wanted to ask you. Okay, so I feel as though like, okay, so like people who like you said, like parents who can actually afford to buy their kids cars, no problem, they can do whatever they want, and they know that, you know what I mean. Do you guys think it's like, especially as Black people, like, we literally work and do our best so our kids don't have to go through what we went through?
Mm-hmm.
Or how do you guys define that line between teaching them work ethic and then making sure that they know, like, I'm doing this, I did this, so you don't have to.
That's
You know what
a
I'm
that's a
saying? Like, what
big
is,
mistake we make
yeah.
What? Say,
as
say,
as
Rashad? What's
as
the mistake?
parents with resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest mistake you can make. Like you're thinking your child is gonna have all the grit that you had, when you became successful. They're not. If you're not instilling them, if you're just, here's your allowance, here's this, here's a new car, here's like, if your kid has everything that they desire, they're not
They
gonna work
become
hard.
spoiled brats.
That, I mean, I'm not even gonna say that, but I mean, you're definitely right. But they just, if you don't want for, like, right now, if you guys wanted for nothing, like, if the government was giving out $5,000 a month a stipend, like, how hard would you really work if you know you had a free $5,000 a month?
I would still work hard because $5,000 these days, that shit ain't nothing.
I
But you wouldn't work as hard because and I'm just using that like, just a number.
I
But
mean, yeah,
if
like I
you
might not work 5 days out of the week. I might work four.
exactly, so that's what I'm saying. That's what happens to your kids. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll work a little bit because my car insurance already paid for, this and that. I'm just working to get sneakers or whatever the case.
and
Selena?
that's the point that I agree with. So, like growing up, what I wish, yes, I came home with my $300, and
Hmm.
that was all mine. I had no bill.
Mm.
I wish my parents would have taught, like, made me pay bills. That would have helped me put value to my money, because when I was getting money, I was able to buy what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, you said you have to go to work, but I was like, I live at home. I'm in college. I go to school. Do I? They're not making me pay bills.
But what did you do with the $300?
Brought with she took me out.
My dog went balling. She was balling. Ah!
See, that were getting good. Like, we would, you know,
Yes.
I was
You
going to
was on
dinner
the fifth floor eating hibachi.
party. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was, for me, like, my mom used to
It
have
was
me
just a lack of financial literacy. And
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So it's one of those things where you can say, "Hey, go to work. You can't be laying around the house all day, because you're not in school." But it's like, if you're not teaching them how to navigate in their finances, I feel like even if they are working or you're teaching them, they got to find a way to get it themselves. If you're not teaching them how to save and prepare for the future and how to make money off of what they're working, you're still setting up for the same failure as if you're just giving it to them.
yeah, I agree.
That's
But
my opinion. Like, you say, like, go to work, figure it out, but are you setting them up where they're mentally prepared to handle those finances?
yeah, I just feel like, it is not like, and like I said, at some point you have to be grown and just understand you can't blame your parents for shit, because like no one taught us financial literacy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as far as like actually, having, like, going through the daily things, and not necessarily on like a lifestyle, paying bills and light bill, but more so on building wealth, generational wealth, you know what I mean? Or learning the ins and out of real estate and equity and things that are put in your name, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, so I do, to me, you know what I mean, I do feel it's just like you don't want to see your kids struggle the same way that you have to, and you do certain things so they don't have to, but at the same time it's just like you need to make sure that, okay, you don't have to struggle, like, as far as places to live and things like that, maybe I had to do that growing up, but you have to learn, this, so you don't have to do that in the future, you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel that way.
Yeah.
Financial literacy, and like you said, within our community, it's not that I don't think my parents wanted to teach us; they didn't know it. They
Yeah.
just we had to go to work. They had kids to provide for. They had bills to pay, and that's what they did. So you know what I mean. And so you keep, like like you said, but one point within myself, like having a kid, and I've been very fortunate and blessed. Like I see people struggle, like it amazes me to this day myself, Rashad. Like I did okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because my parents, like, I remember them doing, like, living in the household, I didn't have to pay bills as long as I went to school. My brother, 90, was a problem child. They gave me no, like, I could do no wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I was good when as long as I was in school, I was staying at home. I paid no bills. You know, of course, I look out, take them to dinner every once in a while, but like, I had paid no bills. So when it was like my parents separated and they're like, "You can't live here anymore. You got a baby," I was like, um,
What am I gonna do?
you know, but like, that's what
You said
well,
that?
my dad did my laundry. Yes, I knew how to wash dishes because my mom
I
literally made,
know, like we like
my mom
yeah.
dad did our laundry. My mom cooks all the time. I don't cook. Still to this day, my mom is an amazing cook, and I never paid attention. I always felt like my parents are going to do it, and that's what it's like for me. But they still instilled something for me was like, you got to be a go getter. You got to be a go getter. You know, like I
But I
remember.
think that we like our life. I think that like we set up ourselves for our lifestyle because it's not like you don't eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's
When I tell you
okay.
my dog be at the she boy.
That's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's literally okay, but it's just like, you know, it's just like I can't but now I think about it, like how we, you know, just didn't, you know, we really didn't want for anything, but it's just like at the same time, maybe that was just how they, you know, was just like, you know what, I don't want them to have to do that how we did. So it's just like whatever. But then, you know, it's whatever. Like I said, there's no manual, but
But see, my
yeah.
household was
We
different
were eating
though.
good. We
My
were eating
household was different though. When I finally started working and all that, it was more to, oh, you want a cell phone bill? You can pay your own cell phone.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, also, I need for you to pay this light bill. I'm like, I know damn well I be at school and working. I know I'm not running on the light bill like that. I know I'm not, but it taught me for the real world. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, it's a win and lose situation. It's like, dang, I'm still 16. Do I really gotta pay the light bill? But it teaches you to be prepared for everything else. And I feel like I've been doing pretty damn good. I can pat myself on the back. You feel me?
Exactly.
So it's just households is different. You
yeah.
know, it's just it's you gotta either you're gonna enable yourself or you're gonna do what you need to do. It's just point
Mm.
blank. Period.
Like I said,
Yeah.
just the mentality of the person and the children, though. You know what
It
I mean?
is. It is because
That little,
we like working.
Yes.
Like everybody. Like I feel like everybody on here. Like we
you were
like
16.
I know, but it's not like it's not like I don't know. Like just the independence of it. Like I
It
love that.
felt good.
I love that. You know what I mean? Like I like it wasn't like we were complaining, and so it's kind of like even though that we didn't really want for anything, and then we didn't really need to, we liked it, and so I feel like
Yeah.
I would give them props because like they like that was in us. You know, like
Yeah.
that dog is in us. That drive is in us. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't just get there. Like we saw how they were working. So it was just like, shoot, like you know what I mean? Like it's not like we were lazy. We liked to work, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
You know what I'm saying? I look cute.
And I feel that's what they instilled in us because we didn't have to pay bills, but they allow us to make our own money to buy what we wanted. So when they were like flee from the nest, we knew we had to work extra hard to continue getting that lifestyle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to pay bills living here, but eventually when you leave here, you're gonna have to pay bills and you're gonna have to figure out how to still get the stuff that you want.
Hmm.
And I feel like
Welcome
that's
to the real world.
yeah, welcome to the real world, basically. And that's what I feel like helped me understand, like you said, getting that part-time job. Not necessarily having to pay bills at the house where my parents lived at, but actually getting that part-time job because I did have that free time. I wasn't involved in any sports or clubs or anything.
Forget
You know,
all that.
so
I barely even like to go to school when I had to go to school. So it is what it is. I didn't want to stay in there no longer than what I had to. Let me go do this 8 hours and I'm out. But shoot, I like working. That kept me away from home. Shit.
so Rashad, I do have a question, and congratulations again on the new baby. So where
I'm
you
gonna
are,
be your auntie.
okay.
It's crazy.
Where you are now, right? You're how old are you?
35.
35 years old, right? Now, are you like with the new baby? Are you considering your retirement?
Yeah.
Is that part of the factors when it comes to planning and finances? Your retirement because you are older now.
Yeah, I don't think it had nothing to do with the baby. I think me turning 35 recently, I just started thinking more so about that. I mean, just like it seemed like just a couple of years ago, I feel like I was trying to figure out like how to navigate into the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just now at 35, I'm like, how could I navigate out of it?
Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Exactly.
it's like middle, you know what I mean? That middle-aged man just came
Hmm.
like out of nowhere. Like I didn't even know it was coming, but yeah, I started, looking at some accounts and some investments, and I'm just like, yeah, how are we gonna do this? Like, talking about it with the wife, and definitely.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I want to point out. Like we said, like at 16, we didn't mind working. You know what I mean? But you look at it, you start working at 16, being in your 35, like, and then you
Well,
have
I
another.
didn't, I didn't get my first job till like 19.
Everyone is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like so, working at 19. You know what I mean? 19 to 35. But you think about it, if you're one of those people who are not planning for your future, your retirement, you're going to be working well into your 70s or 80s.
especially us millennials, because I don't think there's gonna be Social Security available for us.
Exactly, and it's
Yeah, they
that.
trying to take all that away from us.
Exactly. We have to, in this, like, are we still able to prepare for our
Can
children, like, have a college fund, have a fund for them to get a vehicle so they can,
a
have
five
independence.
529.
Get a savings account.
The college fund is a
Yeah,
529 plan.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, saving for that, having those stuff like, and that's what I'm planning for her to do now. But it's like, shit, retirement is right around the corner. I'm setting you up.
yeah,
But what about me? You gonna come back around? And like, I'm one of those parents where I'm like, you don't owe me anything.
Fact.
I'm just able to have a better life, better future. Go do that. You know what I mean? So it's
that's me too. By the way, just throwing that out there.
what, what?
I don't want anything for my children.
I don't either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything I'm doing for you is because I love you and I want to see you have a better future. You don't have to come back and
because
buy me a
because
house.
I do it because it's my responsibility.
Yes, yes, sir.
Y'all sound
I
like
owe I
Simpsons.
owe my kids
They
everything. They don't owe me anything.
don't owe me nothing. They don't owe
Yeah.
me nothing. All they owe me is to go out there and be better than mommy. That's all I want.
He
Cause I
said, "You
got two
think I do this
girls,
because I
so
like you? You think I do this because I love you? It's my
yeah.
responsibility."
Fences.
Okay, straight up. It's the truth. They didn't ask to be here.
Hmm.
I was being grown.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
These are our decisions.
Yeah, I was being grown.
You're
Hmm.
absolutely right. But then, like you said though, Rashad, you can't give them everything. You got to teach them
No.
how to get it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have to be here. Like in reality, all we owe them is 3 hots and a cot.
Yeah.
And
Damn, Lena. 3 hots in a cot. What the? Where you got that shit from? That must be some 50 shit. What the?
I know both of y'all as parents, y'all kids get way more than that.
They do.
And honestly, as a parent, and making a parent is taking care of your child. You know what I mean? Like some people have kids and don't take care of them.
Fact.
And it's just one of those things where it's like us as the parents, we don't owe them anything. And honestly, I like the way you said it's our responsibility to take care of them. I thought it's our responsibility to get them through life without being a burden on someone else. But all the extra stuff and figuring out, that's going to be, it has to be instilled in them and they're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah. I think you're in charge for a certain period of time. You're not in control,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are going to get older.
Yeah, so I just want to know, are you taking care of the grandbaby at 18 or not?
Hey, my dad told me he just looked at me. He was like, "Look, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing." He was like, "I ain't gonna be no good granddaddy." Like why he was drinking a beer like that, and he just left the conversation. I guess that was our sex talk. He's like, "I ain't gonna be no
Damn.
granddaddy."
I ain't gonna be no granddaddy. I like it.
He's dumb.
I probably should use that because I asked Sonny, like, Sonny, you ready to talk about the birds and the bees? He was like, I haven't been outside today.
Haven't seen a bird or a bee, mommy. Leave me alone.
Oh my
You've had that conversation with him though, right?
No, because it's
He's
what I have now.
13.
Huh?
He's 13, about to be
You
December.
talking to you talking to Chase?
Yes.
What did you say? Tell me what you said.
Huh?
What did you say?
I mean, I saw his search history, so I had to, give him some perspective, some advice.
What? Okay, just real quick. In one,
I'm so ashamed. Oh my God, I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. My dog, I'm so ashamed.
Well, I don't want to embarrass my son, but I mean, it's normal. Chase, if you ever do see
yeah, of
this in the
course.
future, it's normal, son.
You
You
gotta say
gotta.
his name.
No, but okay. What I'm saying
I
is
only
like.
got one son.
But what? Okay, listen. What I'm saying is, what's so funny though? I have a friend, right? A good friend of mine, and like our boys, we know they know each other. And she walked in on her son, and he's not even 13. And so I'm
So
just
Sonny's friend.
yes. And so I'm just like, what happened? What I saw is that you have your wet dream, mom finds the sheet, and then you have the conversation.
Nah, nah.
Clear, this
I
is
don't
not
know
You
Disney
about
might
that
you
Channel.
might
part.
have waited too late.
I don't know about that part, Lena.
But I don't know. I'm just gonna send him to his
I'm
dad.
happy
Because
I ain't got
every
no boy. Cause let me walk in there and see some shit. Like, what is this? Hey, what are you doing? Stop touching that. I think I would lose my damn mind. Like, what are you doing?
This is crazy.
you can't
Okay,
shame
guys.
them for being humans,
I
No,
mean,
it's
I understand
like,
that.
it's just like really like have those conversations. Like, of course, it's uncomfortable for both parties. You know what I mean? And it's just like, why are you telling me this? And Sonny's a lot like me. He's like, bro, and like, but like, dude, stop. Like, come on. I know you know. Like,
Bruh, the
yeah,
That's just like
line
that's just
I
like
had to
I'm sorry, we recently went to the doctor and they were like, they was wanting to give Chase
the HPV.
the HPV because they're like, this is the age where they become sexually active.
Yeah,
And
Sonny's
I wasn't there at the appointment, but my wife was like, "What?" So,
Okay. What are you talking about, doctor?
yeah.
but this is, that's their job, so they know like that's around the time, where you start experimenting. So,
oh
what you
my
were saying,
god.
Cece?
No, I was just saying my nigga said I haven't been outside today.
I haven't seen a bird or a bee, mommy. Why are you talking to me about
Yo,
what are you talking
I
about?
swear to God, I'm putting that in the script, bro. Like,
I know my dog was lost. I ain't seen a
that is
bird or a
so
bee, mommy. For
funny
real.
shit, bro. That is hilarious.
Okay. All right, guys. And so, I think what I want to take away from this is just that life is going to happen and it's just better times for it to happen. We all have to do what's right for us, what's right for you and your situation. We can plan better. Like from what we know now, like, possibly having another child, buying a house, like the pleasures that we used to enjoy that we can be spontaneous and just F it, YOLO, let's blow this money in one weekend. We can't live like that anymore. You really got to take accountability for like our lives and our choices and planning for that stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, damn, that's when you realize you have
We're
age.
grown.
We're grown.
We're
Grown,
grown. Point
grown.
blank period. We're
Yeah,
grown.
any moment, something like you said, life insurance. Like I work in the insurance industry, and it's one of those things where it's like people really out here paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? And it's sad. You think people have houses, this and that, and it's just like, yes, they might have a house, but they got a big bill. That roof got to be replaced. And it's, I had an insured the other day. It was just like, I'm 70 years old. You're denying my claim. My roof is a tile roof. It's $75,000. I'm gonna be working until I'm 80. I can't afford it.
Oh my,
Blame it on Trump. Shit.
oh my God.
But
I don't like hearing about stuff like that. Jesus.
but it's sad. It's true.
It's the truth though, Sierra.
You buy a house, you got to maintain it, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand that. It's not like insurance is for sudden and accidental things. It's not like, well, it's been 20 years I've been paying insurance, pay for my roof. No, did a hurricane blow it off? It's just old and tired. It's like you got to maintain your body, you got to maintain your property.
Yeah.
Oh my
and that's
God.
education and navigating finances. That's something I feel like we're teaching our kids a lot about in school, about the education, the history, and it's just like we can know all day about life and slavery and Jim Crow and this and that, but if you're not teaching us how to put ourselves in a better position financially, so we can break away from the out of the work field when all this working life is so short, then like, are we really teaching them to have a better life? How to really make money and what to do with your money? Learn how to sacrifice, not giving to temptations. Your friends may be able to go out, but you can't.
I'm okay with that. I stay in my house all the time, so I'm good.
Period.
Justice won't be okay with that, Queen. Justice won't be okay with that. That's you. Your daughter gonna want to go outside. Your daughter gonna want to go outside.
She gonna want shit. Go to your daddy house.
So every just want to close with every major life event deserves a fudge. Let me do it again.
Tongue tied like a bitch.
Every major life event deserves a money plan. Financial literacy is very important, whether it's from having children, going to college, buying a house, dying. You need something in place. If not, someone else is going to pick up that tab.
Listen, you ain't even got to worry about. Don't get no coffin. Don't do none of that. Put me in the garbage bag, ho. I'm dead.
No,
y'all can save that money for something else, baby. I'm being serious. Like I wouldn't want my kids to have to be responsible for that. Use that money for something else. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to be cremated. Like whatever's the cheapest option, y'all can put me like. You know what's I forget where they put you like in the wall.
In an urn?
It's like damn near free or something.
Yeah, like it's cheaper.
Take me on my last vacation.
I really don't like that the end of this is going how we want to be buried. Come on, let's speak liveliness.
But this is a real thing.
It is. It's real. People don't think about that.
So we're ending it. This is something we should have talked about at the beginning. We're ending it.
No, we're gonna end on a happy note. Let me finish though. But for me personally, I need you to cremate me and buy me a plane ticket. I want my own. Take me to Ireland.
Yeah, Selena, go to hell. You're cremated. You act like you won't see it.
This is Sonny's responsibility.
You don't want to help
out? I'm done.
Huh?
You don't want to help out?
I'm done.
Me and you the same age. Like we both gonna be gone.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. So everyone's gonna live forever. Okay.
Yes, forever.
And so those are things that we don't have to plan about. And I feel like we really touched a nerve. I'm really glad. Like if anyone listens to this podcast, 18 Wheels, I know you're there. Our fans,
right downstairs, girl.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You learn something today. Set up. Just basically be prepared. Set up and take responsibility. That's basically all we're saying. Set up for your shit. Take responsibility. You're a grown ass adult. So do what you need to do to get where you need to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
don't be like Diddy.
Who said that? All right, I gotta go, y'all.
This is the Scripture Issues, and we are navigating finances through our big moments of life. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.